responsibility as his mother to make sure the environment he's going into is good.
Duh.
So then why aren't you going to her? You should have been in that house. You should have been talking to her. It's not her responsibility.
What if the love and hip-hop universe's apparent calm before the storm was a myth? What if a secret was subtly shattering everything behind those picture-perfect postings and red carpet smiles? That's just what people are muttering when Tasha K revealed something shocking that nobody anticipated. The most recent viral rumor claims that Yandy has been publicly flaunting their unbreakable bond on social media, while Jasmine, yes, the same Jasmine who had attempted to separate herself from Mendeecees, is clearly expecting his child. Let's be clear before drawing any conclusions. These are only assertions that have surfaced online. However, everyone is wondering the same thing because of the timing, the mysterious posts, and the abrupt tension between Yandy and Mendeecees. What's actually happening behind closed doors? Tasha K's disclosure sparked a fire, not simply rumors. This rumor has become one of the most explosive controversies in recent love and hip-hop history due to screenshots, voice notes, and tearful live sessions. Hold on tight, because we're going to delve deeply into the startling allegations, the emotional impact, and the convoluted triangle that is a pending reality TV today. Social media was utterly quiet the night Tasha K went live, as though everyone was holding their breath to see what she would say next. When she eventually shouted the words, the chat room erupted. She began slowly taunting her audience with her trademark smirk, claiming to have some tea so hot it might break the internet. Mendeecees' baby Jasmine. Even the most devoted followers who have witnessed every turn in hip-hop and love history were unable to prepare for this kind of revelation. The comments came pouring in, with individuals identifying Yandy, bringing up past videos, and attempting to make connections between seemingly unrelated things. According to Tasha, a close friend of Jasmine's apparently revealed everything to her in exclusive texts. Although she didn't reveal faces, she gave enough clues to give everyone the impression that something significant was happening behind the scenes. She claimed that Mendeecees and Jasmine had been in touch for months and had discreetly reconnected after meeting at an Atlanta event. Things allegedly progressed after a few late-night discussions grew emotional. Although initially there was nothing serious, just friendly chatter, and followers began to wonder if this was real at that point. People instantly made the connection when Yandy, who is renowned for maintaining her composure, shared a phrase on her Instagram story that read, "The real always comes to light, even when the fake tries to hide." Some pleaded with her to remain strong, while others in the comment sections went crazy, accusing her of being disparaging. Mendeecees' uncharacteristically quiet online behavior, like missing interviews and avoiding topics he would typically laugh off, didn't help either. Fans started searching through old footage as the rumors spread, pointing out whenever Jasmine's name was brought up. They reenacted old episodes, pointing out the chemistry that perhaps no one had noticed at the time. When Yandy was brought up, videos of Jasmine looking away awkwardly reappeared, and some fans claimed to have seen something deeper in her eyes, like regret or unresolved emotions. Jasmine's social media accounts turned private in the days that followed. That merely fueled the flames. Some blogs suggested that she was trying to avoid queries about her purported pregnancy, while others conjectured that she was attempting to hide from the spotlight. Then the pictures appeared, blurry screen grabs of her in an enormous hoodie at a restaurant. Not verified, but enough to raise the clamor among enthusiasts. "You guys can't tell me otherwise." An admirer wrote in a tweet, "She's glowing like she's expecting." The tale had become its own thing by this point, although her admirers showered her with affection in their remarks, referring to her as the real queen and the wife who held it down. The couple themselves remained oddly silent. No birthday tributes, no date night photos, no joint posts. Even those closest to them appeared aloof. Rumor has it that in private, rather than out of rage, Yandy faced Mendeecees, out of perplexity. She apparently sought the truth from the man she trusted, not the internet. According to a person close to the couple, their conversation was difficult and full of tears and pauses. Mendeecees reportedly denied the pregnancy rumor, but acknowledged that he had discussed unfinished business with Jasmine a few times. The next day, the phrase was included on almost all gossip websites, but Tasha K wasn't finished. When she went live again 2 nights later, she claimed to have receipts, which were voice notes that alluded to emotional messages sent between Mendeecees and Jasmine. Although she didn't play them all, she claimed that the tone alone conveyed a narrative, because she is known to stir things up and rarely backs down when she smells scandal. Her audience believed her when they begged her to release the clips. She simply responded, "Trust me, when the time is right, y'all will hear everything." It was hard to ignore as more blogs entered the discussion. Nothing was verified, but the story was moving so quickly that even a denial wouldn't have stopped it. One blogger claimed to have seen Jasmine at a clinic, while another said Mendeecees' crew had been phoning around attempting to do damage control. Oh, no one had evidence. But everyone wanted answers. Yandy's companions began to talk in an oblique manner. There were no names mentioned in those enigmatic posts. But the time was clear. Loyalty doesn't mean much when temptation keeps knocking and when you build a home. Make sure everyone inside deserves a key. In her stories, Yandy herself began to seem more introspective and less glamorous. She would post from her living room with the candles lit and the music off. Fans left comments like, "Stay strong, queen, and we see your pain." In the meantime, there was no Jasmine. She was staying with a cousin out of town to avoid the mayhem, according to some reports. Someone even claimed that after receiving threats online, she was speaking with her lawyer. It was getting darker than anybody had anticipated. Mendeecees made an effort to appear normal throughout it all. In a brief audio clip, he grinned and remarked, "People always want to tear families apart, but viewers could not help but note how uneasy he appeared. His laugh sounded forced, his hands continued to twitch, and his eyes hardly ever looked at the camera." Comments flooded in, with some claiming he was at fault and others arguing that he was misinterpreted. A video of Yandy chatting with a close buddy in a parking lot one evening showed him clearly disturbed. Even though she wasn't shouting, her body language was very clear. She covered her face and paced back and forth while shaking her head. Within minutes, the video became viral. It was titled, "When Loyalty Hurts the Most." Bloggers slowed it down and examined each gesture as if it were a scene from a movie. By this point, the story was about more than simply treachery. It was also about perplexity, heartache, and reputation. The pair, who had established their business on growth and loyalty, found themselves in the middle of a maelstrom that called into question everything. The harm had already been done, whether it was true or not. Everyone waited for someone, anybody, to speak the truth. Followers started picking sides and hashtags started trending. The anxiety persisted as the days went by. Yandy ceased to post. Jasmine didn't say anything. Mendeecees made an appearance at a family gathering, but he lacked his typical charisma. He avoided the cameras and forced a smile while standing at the rear. Even the strongest love can end when secrets start to come to light. According to many who formerly viewed them as the embodiment of black love on reality television, Tasha intimated that part 2 of her exclusive was imminent, saying it would shock everyone who still thinks this is a rumor. That one comment drove the internet into overdrive once more, as everyone braced for what would come next. Just when it appeared like the commotion might subside, the internet exploded when Tasha hinted at her alleged second drop. In anticipation of the next live, folks kept checking her page all night long. Fans were caught between incredulity and interest. While some believed she had something genuine, others claimed she was only seeking views. However, about 300,000 people were watching when she eventually went live again. Almost too calmly, she began by drinking her drink and allowing the tension to build before asking, "You guys believed it ended there? This story has only just begun, baby." She said that instead of confessing, Jasmine had vented to someone in Yandy's inner circle. The messages showed that Jasmine felt cornered and that she never intended for things to become this bad. According to Tasha, according to one purported message, "I didn't plan this." Fans went crazy, saying, "I didn't even think he'd respond." Everyone knew who Tasha was referring to. Even though she never explicitly mentioned Mendeecees' name, the audience fell hushed as she continued, saying, "One person's silence speaks louder than 10 denials." Meanwhile, pictures of an old picture of Jasmine wearing what appeared to be the identical bracelet Mendeecees had been seen wearing in a previous episode started making the rounds. Comments were blown up by admirers who conjured up hypotheses that made things seem more complicated than it actually was. Even when there aren't any, the internet manages to join the dots. But in this instance, the dots appeared to paint a graphic of suffering. Things weren't the same inside their house. According to individuals close to Yandy, she had halted filming for a few days and declined producers' requests to capture her reaction on tape. She reportedly informed them that this isn't a storyline. Mendeecees, on the other hand, appeared desperate to maintain order, requesting that people refrain from speaking and attempting to protect their children from the mayhem. However, it's difficult to remain silent while everyone is calling your name. According to acquaintances who attended their most recent family get-together, the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Nobody stated that Yandy smiled at all. She answered questions succinctly and was courteous yet aloof. Even his mother saw how preoccupied he was, despite Mendeecees' attempts to lighten the atmosphere. According to reports, Jasmine was living off the grid while the pair attempted to address matters in secret. A gossip forum said that she had been spotted wearing a hood over her head as she left a doctor's clinic late at night. Despite being grainy, the image sparked more conjecture. Fans now believed there was fire and were certain the pregnancy rumor wasn't just smoke. Sensing the public's interest, bloggers started vying to break the next exclusive. One blogger said Jasmine was ready to come out but was under pressure not to, while another said she had gotten a message from someone using a phony account telling her to stay quiet before things get ugly. No one had evidence, but everyone had a version of the truth. In an interview, a close friend of Mendeecees stated, "People love to twist things. Even though he's not flawless, he wouldn't treat Yandy that way." The internet didn't believe it, even if it sounded plausible. Not after everything they've been through. The damage was already done. Before the facts had a chance to influence the story, perception had already done so, although she didn't give any details. Tasha continued to imply that more was on the horizon by stating that she had received a mysterious email from someone who claimed to be closer to the situation than anyone thinks. Her statement that the story behind the story is always darker sent viewers shivers and rekindled the craze. Yandy's quiet began to speak for itself. She only included one black heart emoji on her tail, with no explanation or caption. Fans debated the post's meaning as it received 1 million views in a matter of hours. Some claimed it represented sadness, while others thought it represented strength. Although everyone had an opinion, only Yandy understood her true meaning. According to reports, a week later, Mendeecees and Yandy were contacted by hip-hop and love producers in an attempt to address the rumors in a future reunion special. Mendeecees appeared conflicted though, as sources claimed that Yandy declined, stating that she wasn't going to feed gossip with more gossip. He wanted to go on record to clear his name, according to sources, but his publicist cautioned him that it could be safer to remain silent. Jasmine's name continued to trend throughout the interim. People analyzed her previous posts in an attempt to decipher the hidden meanings in the captions. Even though it was released months before the speculations, admirers were certain that it was related to one of her older quotes that reappeared. "Sometimes love doesn't die. It just waits for the right moment." Thousands of people were condemning her, defending her, or pleading with her to speak in her tumultuous comment area. Then the video appeared. A hazy video of Jasmine and a man who appeared to be a Mendeecee riding in a car late at night was leaked to a gossip website. Although the man's face was obscured, supporters were certain that it was him based on his build, voice, and chain. Even though the movie was only 10 seconds long, it was enough to cause a major stir on the internet. Hashtags including #Mendeecees exposed, #Justice for Yandy, and #Jasmine knows began to trend in a matter of minutes. However, no confirmation was found. Whether the footage was altered or authentic was up for discussion. Everyone became an online detective as tech-savvy users zoomed in, slowed it down, and applied filters. Even some of Yandy's famous pals made subtle remarks about the circumstance. One person said, "Not everything that glitters is loyal," while another said, "The devil works hard, but clout works harder." Mendeecees eventually broke his silence as the video gained popularity. However, he did it with a live video rather than a statement. "You guys need to stop believing everything you hear," he said, looking serious. "I don't tolerate lying." He didn't answer Tasha K directly, didn't mention Jasmine by name, and didn't confirm or refute the pregnancy rumors. "Me and my family are good." His voice was combative rather than comforting. Supporters were divided. Some praised his composure, while others referred to it as evasion. However, during his live performance, Yandy was neither seen nor heard from. Fans bombarded her site with comments, inquiring as to whether or not she trusted him. No response. The enigma was only made more complex by her absence. This rumor became a cultural event, involving even those who had never watched the show. Producers apparently discussed how to manage the escalating chaos behind the cameras. Some claimed it was too intimate, while others wanted to make it a plot point for the upcoming season. Regardless of their choice, they were certain that this scandal had taken on a life of its own. "The story y'all think you know is missing one major piece," Tasha said in a mysterious tweet the following morning. The globe held its breath for the next explosion as they said, "Stay tuned." People began to speculate about what that one major piece might be as Tasha's tweet went viral. Everyone had theories. Some assumed Jasmine had made a secret confession, while others suspected she had DNA results. The tension was intolerable, by hinting that something bigger than the first reveal was on the horizon. Gossip blogs transformed the situation into a countdown. Even those who weren't typically interested in celebrity drama were now paying attention. Wanting to see what would happen next, Tasha returned to the air 3 nights later. Her voice sounded icier, almost grave this time. She didn't begin by making jokes or laughing. She claimed to have spoken directly to someone close to Jasmine, not a friend but family, and instead looked directly into the camera, saying the truth always finds a way out, even when people try to bury it. She claimed that Jasmine felt emotionally drained and confined by the attention. The family member verified that Jasmine had told them about a complicated situation involving Mendeecees. According to Tasha, comments flooded the live conversation, while some viewers pleaded for more evidence. Others were certain that this was the affirmation they had been seeking. Tasha continued after that. She masked out names and didn't share screenshots, but her description alone drove followers into a frenzy. She started off by explaining what she called evidence, mentioning emotional text conversations that suggested an affair, and one message that purportedly spoke to taking responsibility. Everywhere, people started uploading short clips of her live performance, with each caption being more dramatic than the one before. Yandy's world was in disarray back in Atlanta. According to insiders, she had begun to trust only a select group of close pals. According to one of them, after hearing Tasha's most recent allegations, Yandy sobbed and stated, "I'm tired of being strong for everyone." The same source also said that she had been spending more time alone herself, journaling and praying in an attempt to distinguish between what was true and what was simply noise. Mendeecees, meanwhile, seemed intent on moving as if nothing were amiss. His smile was described as hollow by individuals who witnessed him meeting fans, smiling, and taking selfies at a charity event. His eyes had lost their typical warmth. From the crowd, someone yelled at one point, "Is it true?" And it was said that his face froze for a moment before he turned to leave. That video, which was captured on a phone, immediately went viral on social media. As if it were a movie, people slowed it down, watched it again frame by frame, and examined each moment. Everyone had something to say, even if no one could agree on anything from "he looked guilty" to "he's just tired of lies." Jasmine eventually spoke up. However, not with a statement, but rather with a brief post about her experience. Just 12 words, yet they encapsulated the entire scandal. People believe what they want, but I own no one my truth. Her name began trending once more in a matter of minutes. Screenshots were already all over the internet, but the post vanished within hours. Some interpreted it as denial, while others saw it as confirmation. The fact that no one understood her true intentions only increased the level of obsession. Upon her return, Tasha asserted that Jasmine's article was a reaction to her own life. In addition to hinting that she had been contacted by someone from Mendeecees' camp, asking her to tone it down, she teased that there was more she hadn't revealed out of respect. That statement alone caused a whole new storm, with fans debating whether Tasha was being silenced or simply igniting more drama. According to reports, the couple's friends attempted to intervene by setting up a secret meeting between Mendeecees and Yandy. According to insiders, wasn't simple. She eventually accepted after first refusing, stating, "I have nothing to talk about until I see the truth with my own eyes." There were reportedly tears, prolonged silences, and a few heated voices during the emotional meeting. Mendeecees denied everything once more, claiming the stories were fabricated to destroy their home. "I've made mistakes before, but this ain't one of them," he informed her. But the discussion didn't result in any resolution. According to people close to Yandy, she left it with a more perplexed appearance than previously. She wanted to believe him, but the timing, the silence, energy, it all felt off. One friend remarked, "The matter has now become the subject of a thorough examination by supporters." To support their theories, they were examining timelines, cross-referencing previous posts, contrasting dates and attire, and even making side-by-side movies. Astute followers saw a reflection in one of Jasmine's pictures that strikingly resembled Mendeecees' watch, despite a viral post claiming that she had gone to an event the same weekend that he was allegedly in Miami. It didn't have to be proof, but it wasn't. It was sufficient to maintain the fire. In public, Yandy maintained his composure throughout it all. She kept going to charity functions, grinning for the cameras, and if nothing had changed. However, those who knew her well could see that the shine was vanished. Her tone darkened and her captions grew shorter. When she shared a picture online one day with the words, "Sometimes love means walking away quietly," the internet went into overdrive once more. The same question was raised by everyone. Had she given up? Producers allegedly pleaded with her to appear on camera, giving her authority over the story's presentation. However, she declined. Despite her statement that she didn't want to give pain a platform, the cameras continued to record. Fans conjectured that she would finally address the problem on screen and that her quiet was being preserved for the upcoming season. Then followed the unexpected turn of events. People assumed that Jasmine was finally putting an end to the pregnancy rumor when a leaked message that purportedly was a direct conversation between her and a pal stating that she was not keeping anything started making the rounds online. However, even that led to misunderstandings. Some claimed it suggested she had made a difficult choice, while others claimed it meant she wasn't even pregnant. Each interpretation merely served to increase the level of conjecture. Tasha responded swiftly, stating live that she didn't think the message was genuine. She claimed that people constantly fabricate receipts. But everyone, this narrative is far from over. I assure you that something bigger than all the rumors combined is on the horizon. The story was out of everyone's control by this time. What had begun as a whisper had become a worldwide spectacle. Reality TV was suddenly being covered by media outlets that had previously ignored it. Late-night shows cracked jokes, YouTube was overrun with reaction videos, and podcasts devoted whole episodes to dissecting the chronology. Jasmine, Mendeecees, and Yandy had become the focus of a plot that confused entertainment with reality. The internet went crazy when one of Tasha's moderators stated that the next disclosure will include proof from someone inside the Inside family, just as the craze appeared to be reaching its zenith. No one understood what that meant, but everyone was aware that everything will change. In the coming days, the internet seems to be holding its breath once more. 2 days after Tasha's moderator made reference to proof from inside the family of the rumor, sites even claimed to have seen a sneak peek at what Tasha was going to share, hinting that something significant was on the horizon. Even those who had little interest in reality television were now hooked, watching to see if the entire plot would blow up or fade away. It was only a 5-second teaser, but it was enough to get her followers to flood her live stream within minutes of it starting. That evening, just before going live, Tasha posted a brief clip with the caption, "The truth doesn't need defending." Her voice could be heard faintly saying, "Receipts don't lie." Her tone was solemn once more when she stepped onto the screen. But this time, there was a difference. There was less gossip and more focus. She claimed to have had a conversation with a member of Mendeecees' extended family, who purportedly verified that Jasmine and Mendeecees had been spotted together in private on multiple occasions in the previous few months. She reiterated that she was merely repeating what she had been taught and wasn't asserting anything as truth. But her wording was so incisive that everyone took it at face value. The insider claimed that Jasmine and Mendeecees' relationship was something that never fully ended. Rather than merely a fling, the live chat became frantic. While some accused Tasha of fabricating stories without evidence, others bombarded comments with phrases like, "This is wild, Yandy deserves better," and he played both sides. She didn't give up, though. "You can't fake the tone in a message that emotional," she continued, adding that there were text messages exchanged that she had personally witnessed. Nevertheless, she declined to provide screenshots, stating that it was out of respect for the people involved. Every gossip website grabbed it up as soon as her live stream stopped. Everywhere you looked, headlines appeared, each one more dramatic than the previous. Fans began to speculate that Jasmine might have intentionally avoided social media because she was unable to cope with the pressure. Screenshots of people saying they saw her looking exhausted and teary-eyed at a peaceful spa outside of Atlanta surfaced. Others claimed she was attempting to evade recognition during this time. Mendeecees made an appearance in a friend's photo, grinning, but the comments section was harsh. People accused him of betraying his wife and filled it with snake emojis. To make matters worse, the post was removed an hour later. Everyone started to question whether the friend had taken it off out of loyalty or under duress. In the meantime, Yandy said nothing. The world grew louder the more she remained silent. Her quiet itself became a declaration. The comment that read, "Real women don't compete, they walk away," was liked by one of her pals and became the headline for her most recent post. Although no one truly knew, the blogs claimed that Yandy was done fighting. Rumors circulated among those close to the pair that producers were attempting to arrange a private meeting between Jasmine, Mendeecees, and Yandy for the purpose of filming. The reunion didn't materialize, but rumors spread that cameras were rolling again, recording the tension behind the scenes for the upcoming season. Mendeecees reportedly agreed to appear only provided it was a real conversation, not TV. Jasmine supposedly declined, stating she didn't want to be turned into a circus. Fans had started questioning the veracity of the narrative by this time. All they wanted to do was wait and see. People were picking sides like they were watching a movie because of how emotionally invested they had become. Some defended Mendeecees by claiming that social media was exaggerating the situation and that everyone makes mistakes. Others supported Yandy, claiming she deserved peace and lauding her strength. Jasmine was referred to as the other woman caught in a storm. She didn't start by those who felt sorry for her, an anonymous post on a well-known forum claiming to have proof of everything surfaced as the online commotion peaked. The post featured hazy screenshots of a text exchange between Jasmine and a contact named M. The messages were emotional and full of words like regret, promise, and please don't shut me out. No one could confirm whether they were real, but that didn't stop people from thinking they were. Within hours, the post went viral. Tasha responded right away, stating that although she hadn't made those texts public, they lined up with what she had been informed. Fans now thought she had been hiding information to keep her source safe. "I don't make stories, I just reveal the ones people try to hide," she stated live. This time, the Mendeecees' response was different. "Sometimes silence makes people think you're guilty." He wrote in a lengthy description that he put on his Facebook rather than ignoring it. "However, I will no longer respond to lies." After saying people feed off drama and I'm not feeding them, he later disabled his comments, which further divided his fan base. Some interpreted it as a man defending his tranquility, while others saw it as a man evading the truth. There were speculations that Yandy had left their house for a while. According to one outlet, she had been staying with a friend in an attempt to clear her mind. According to another, she was still in the house but avoiding him. Although no one could verify it, others even asserted that she had been spotted without her ring. One thing emerged from all the public clamor. This was no longer only a matter of rumor. It had evolved into a tale about trust, loyalty, and the effects of celebrity on interpersonal bonds. Fans argued over whether love could withstand this degree of public scrutiny, and as everyone waited for someone to speak the truth. The story's loudest portion was the quiet from the three characters: Jasmine, Mendeecees, and Yandy. Jasmine, Mendeecees, and Yandy. When Tasha reappeared a few nights later, she didn't have any fresh receipts with her. Rather, her statement that sometimes the truth doesn't need to be spoken anymore. It's already been seen rekindled the fire. In an attempt to figure out what she meant, individuals started uploading previous clips again. Did she mean affirmation? Was she saying that the rumors had always been true? Everyone continued talking, even though no one knew. And as people analyzed every word, the story that started out as a rumor evolved into a drama that made it difficult to distinguish between entertainment, emotion, and fact. However, something far more significant seemed to be lurking in the background. Suddenly, what began as a whisper became one of the most talked about stories in the history of reality television. Every moment has kept viewers riveted to their screens, seeking hints, feelings, and explanations that never seemed to materialize, from Tasha K's mysterious lives to Jasmine's quiet and Yandy's anguish. While some people think it's all a misunderstanding that has been exaggerated, others are certain that the truth has always been there. Fans' perspectives on love, loyalty, and the fine line separating reality from reality television have all been altered by this story. Though there are still many unanswered questions. Will Jasmine ever advocate for herself? Will Mendeecees finally put an end to the rumors? And is it really possible for Yandy to forgive what the world thinks happened behind her back? No one is aware. The three of them's silence has turned into a mystery in and of itself. It seems louder than any confession. It's your chance to comment now. What do you believe actually took place in the background? Was it all a setup, miscommunication, or something more serious? We're all watching the same storm develop, so please share your thoughts in the comments section below. If you've been following this crazy adventure from the beginning, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe for more in-depth analyses of the most recent celebrity pandemonium, and ring the bell to ensure you don't miss the next twist in this incredible tale. Because if there's one thing we've discovered about hip-hop and love, it's that the drama never really stops.